Who's next on stage?
Hi, Deepa. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm really happy you were able to spare some time and be with me.
Thank you so much, Mridula. It's like, I think after school, we are, kind of face-to-facing, like for the first time. So it's amazing. So thanks to Facebook, we keep following each other's journeys. But it was really a pleasant surprise and to get a message from you. And yes, and it is, the language we speak, the kind of, slang and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like I can just take it off from the PS time and not
Exactly.
like, yeah.
It's not like meeting a stranger, right? It's like, oh, yeah. We know each other for years together. Let's just pick up from where we left off. So you've been having a dance journey, right? So a lot of memories and stuff like that should be part of your journey as well. So I just wanted to ask you about your journey, the really funny, crazy, wonky stuff that happens, which always happens to all of us. I'm sure you have tons of them. So this is something that I wanted to ask from you because of your journey.
Yes. So yeah, actually, I was thinking through there's so many things. See, first of all, I'm a very forgetful person in the sense that rather later on in my dance journey, when I realized that, oh my God, you have to allocate a particular lots of chunks of time for remembering stuff. I think maybe because we used to dance so much those days. Now, it was more in muscle memory, and that I didn't allocate so much time. So, yeah, one of my first experiences which I thought was, it's so funny. My dance teacher, Usha Srinivasan, was so mad at me. So I know a dance buddy, my best friend, Vihasati. You must know her.
Yeah.
So she's like good kid. So we Cortex performance. So we were doing this performance. And correcta Usha Mr. said, see, Ulagam Pugulum, and something else. No, so ordinary paragraph. So nee vandu idu parno, avani ulla ponana avru. As usual, in my own world, right? I forget. And I used to come into her portions, and it was such a disaster. And we never used to have recorded music. It was live orchestra.
Correct.
And so the thing about live recorded music, I have like stories. The thing about live orchestra is also that they don't know what you're up to, right? So many people have to come together. Recorded music, something at least
Exactly. You're so much in control of what you're dancing, right? You know the music in and out.
Yeah, exactly. So adhanala then I stand in some Shiva pose, like as if I was totally meant to stand in Shiva pose there. And then obviously see when you're in a flow and then you just notice this human being coming and standing on stage. It was a disaster.
Exactly. You have no idea what's going on, right? You're like, why is she even trying to do this?
Am I supposed to not be here? Our power, she was thinking of all of those things. Nalla dose vaangine Usha Mr. Na vandu anniki vanda adhe mari live orchestra
just sorry, just one quick thing. Try and talk in English just so that we don't have language.
Oh
yeah. Okay.
Yes.
The other incident.
Record live orchestra thing la vandu once when I was dancing in Mylapore Fine Arts, I had it was a solo performance, and obviously you had live orchestra and they would all rehearse something. And I think I just went ahead and missed one whole charanam and went to the next charanam of the Chittasaram, next Chittasaram of the Varnam. And the orchestra is like, what am I supposed to do? Because you given the mridanga some kind of notes and they're working off of the Usha's power. She's like wondering what I'm doing. Then I think there was a Indian Express who came there. And he saw the performance and he gave us a nice review. They said, oh, Deepa danced very well. They said the orchestra needs to, catch up. Sometimes they were not up to speed or something like that. Performance was so mad. She was like, you are the one who's making all these mistakes and you're making us look bad. So yeah, that is like, this happened in the 90s, in the sense that is, when we all started performing and getting a career of our own to perform. this is at that time, but it's still a very fond memory to, I'm sure you would also had, right? Like most of our performances, at least at that time, was always live orchestra. We would have like different, so the kind of relationship we had with those in-house, there are some people who always used to sing for us. There was a Muthukrishnan sir who will always play the mridangam, Venkatraman sir will always play the violin, Venkatesan sir will always play the flute. Vijayalakshmi Abba, she used to sing, and then somebody else. But it was like, those are the, I would say right from the beginning, because of attributed to my complete, I always have that thing of, Ipakuda, I have that. I don't like to completely choreograph things. I try to wing it. And on the,
Absolutely.
I feel that the spontaneity is so beautiful and precious for us as performers. So which is why I practice so much if I have to do a group, even with my students. Now practice panni thalluven because I know that I will mess them up otherwise. And I will become this, I don't know, you all remember your parts. I have to only remember my part, and I'll be doing it because I'm like really bad in group for you. I have like, yeah.
No, I face it too. I will not put it only on you. It's just, I face it too. I have to practice so much harder because it just, and at that point of time, I can manage. It's not that I can't choreograph and manage, but then you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? And that's where the challenge is for everybody else, not for us. We are unaware, but it's everybody else who has to adjust to us.
Yeah. And the group choreo, especially now I do Odyssey. So Odyssey, I'm still one, like a novice, I would say. I've been learning for the past 8 to 9 years now, or even more. But I still feel, I still have a long way to go. And mostly I'll only do group. I'll very rarely I would even volunteer, or even my teacher Niharika Mohanty will pick me for a solo. But the thing is, that I will be like practicing like crazy. Anyway, that is one of the instances which I remembered for live orchestra. If you may, I can tell you one thing for recorded music, because these recorded music, when you perform in different places, they always give you, okay, in this place you would have like a 12-minute thing. This thing you can dance for, you have 24 minutes. So the same song we would edit to different, so if you have like one varnam in my, in my drive, we'll have like edited once, edited for some, that sabha, edited for this sabha. So you'll have like different lens of things. So once, and actually it was so fun. Muralidharan sir came here in 2007. Our first trip where I participated actively was in 2007. And in that, I had Dinesh Mahadevan, Shivakumar from India, Kuldeep Pai was singing. It was a beautiful, Chitra Muralidharan was there, Kavya was there. It was a beautiful trip. And I think, I'm not sure where we danced, Houston, I think somewhere we went there, and then they had given us a particular time slot. So Muralidharan sir had to play a particular version of the music, right? And the scene was Kamsa and Devaki. So she is like, the scene is about how Kamsa and Devaki are so much in like brother-sister love and all that stuff. And the scene has to be very terse and small. Our வேற version music play பண்ணிட்டார். He played the different version of the music. And we were there on stage and we were improvising, and Dinesh is so fun. He would be like, okay, just go to sleep, okay? Now I'm going to feed you, just eat the thing. Say no now, okay? I'll give you, say no, run, then I'll go catch you. Something, he was just telling me cues on stage. And, okay, now, then I'll be like, okay, now I will go and hide here. Let's play hide and seek for this music. He was just
oh my God.
Yeah, it was under the breath. I would never forget that, because it was, you have like, you have like whatever, 5 minutes if something has to be there. If the music was for like 10, 12 minutes to 7 minutes, because we had to improv. Two of us have to improv on stage. So it was, that was something that I loved it, because, when you're working with experienced artists like Dinesh and Shivakumar, even in that same thing, we had Vidya Madhubala and Houston Lashi's there. So we all used to do one scene where Krishna used to get the butter. And so we would, Kavya was Krishna, and we were all the comedy piece in the side.
Okay.
We were all doing it. But it was so fun, because the dancers are also sportive. See, Shivakumar, Dinesh, and Armin, they're very senior. But,
right.
For Muralidharan sir, we were all like so fun, because the energy was so spontaneous. And we all used to come up with comic sequences right then when she's going catching somebody. You'll pull somebody, and then you'll go run, and then push somebody and stand, or pull somebody there. Then it used to be spontaneous. So I used to feel that it was, that was, that is one fun thing. I have one more, and I'll just give it over to you. He's a very I could take the name Kuldeep. He's a fantastic singer, and one of the first few people I would say he sang for dance was me. I don't think he sings so much for dance these days. He sings for very few people. But the thing is, and he's such a dear friend of mine. He stayed with me. In 2007, he was in my house. Such a beautiful artist, so disciplined. I really love him. So when he came to Chennai, I said, please, Anaka, can you sing for me? So he said, Deepaka, I haven't sung so much for dance. I said, it's okay, we'll figure it out. And Muralidharan sir, in December when you perform in India, nobody has time. So they will just not Kuldeep, but most of these orchestra people don't have time. They'll come at 6 o'clock in the morning. Say, 7 Kulla, we have to be finished because we have to go for this other rehearsal somewhere else.
Yes.
How do you do that? So, every and I also have this extreme bias towards improv, doing things spontaneously.
Correct.
And so what we will do is we'll only work the rhythm. So Muralidharan sir will get his Natvangam done. Mridangist will get their Mridangam done. This is after Ushan's passing, because Muralidharan sir started doing Natvangam for me only from 2006. Then he started doing so. So he was doing that. Then we had this song. Akanda Margam Panino, that is Kandajati Adakalatla, we did a Margam. Just before that, we wanted to try one song. So in Kandajati Adakalam, which was not, just in one more performance, Karthik Finance. And, it was Ase Mugam Marnu Poche. Ase Mugam Marnu Poche, when the Kandajati Adakalatku, Muralidharan sir had set it, so that it comes. So obviously we didn't have time to do Ase Mugam Marnu Poche in rehearsal and all. So Kuldeep, we were like, okay, so now Kuldeep, I'll come near you and I'll give you some cue.
Correct.
You need to change,
right?
You need to change something. I was like, so Ase Mugam Marnu Poche, Mridula, he went off into one
zone. Yeah, he went into a zone.
Yeah, he went off into a zone. I am dancing. I mean, how much can you create on stage? I will never forget that. I did some 15 Ase Mugam Marandu Poche. Adu Kandajati Adakalatla. It's not like Ase Mugam Marandu Poche Adakalatla is done. On Kandajati Adakalatla, he was doing 14 counts. So he was doing Ase Mugam, but it was, I would never forget that. But it was, he had no idea that he was doing that. I begged him, somehow I gave him a cue. Obviously, you can't just only change the music. It was like, I went near him and then I did something and I came, I kept on creating something, but it was fun, you will never get those experiences.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And as an artist, he goes into the zone. I mean, most musicians or orchestra, they go into the zone because they love the art so much, right? But how do you communicate with them? Because you are on a finite count of whatever you're doing. So that's where the challenge comes.
But it's beautiful also because you are on a finite count, but they are challenging you and you have to you got to live up to the challenge right there on stage in front of an audience.
Exactly.
And what comes in handy at that time, I feel, is the amount of experience that you have, the kind of, I was already teaching a little bit from that time. And so the kind of vocabulary, you just have to do it.
Correct.
How do you want to fund more the next another thing funny you have to do? So yeah, all these, I think I can keep going on and on, but a few of the things that I remembered were these, yeah.
That's so cute. And not only that, you also, I think, grow as an artist. Because these are only times when you actually, on the fly, you're thinking through the ways you can improv or the ways you can build on a thought. It's just a thought times, right? So
I think that's a talent that I think we should teach. One thing I did, during my thing was I did improv theater. Now I did this theater called Playback Theater from Bangalore. And it's Maha Improv. Like we will take a story from the audience and the key characters, like it'll be your story. So if you're in the audience and you will tell me your personal story, like what happened when you were in kindergarten or what happened when you first came and settled down in this. It's a very an anecdote from your life kind of stuff. And you share it and then we have to perform it right there in front of you without deciding who's doing what. And Adila, we'll have to bring symbolism. We'll have to do so many things so that it's kind of interesting.
Interesting.
So,
Correct.
Yeah, and it's a role play. So there is so much of, give and take. Like I can't overpower, in improv you have yes and, right? Yes, and you add on to it. You don't like challenge them.
Correct.
So it's like, I think that's also a skill I think we should teach our students also, as to, that is, those are a few of the experiences. One last thing which I just remember, I wrote down, like right now in Sacramento Temple, Natyanjali Festival, we went, and again, the same editing problem. Ashwadhanayaka, I play in a particular set of, Muralidharan sir has composed the music in 8 Nayakas. And I like one Nayaka in a different place. And so I edit funny, I will put the Nayaka because I try to swing it into a narrative. Ashwadhanayaka is not a narrative. Each Nayaka stands on its own.
Correct.
I try to make it like she waits for her lover and then this happens and I'll try to do a story.
It's almost like a storyboard, right? You're storytelling through the Nayakas.
Like that. It could do that. So I did it like that. And my kids, these are all my kids, my senior kids, okay? And it's not me solo. It's their solo. I am the one who's doing the music. Tapu version I gave. And then this kid is such a smart kid. Our youngest first place, she's a very smart kid. She's standing next to the, because you can see the audience can see there's no entry exit. She's just seeing. She's supposed to go. That is her Nayaka. Because her cue was once this kid comes out, she has to go something else, right? And then I totally changed the order. So she's just looking like that. Then this another child, but it's amazing to see how the kids, figured it out. One of my senior students from the stage, she's telling, we got this, Deepandi, don't worry. And then they actually did it. And they figured out what comes, but nobody found out, It is amazing. So that is a very proud moment for me because I tell my students, more than choreographing everything to the hilt, I like it if you forget and you're able to create something on the spot. That is where you stand as a dancer, not necessarily reproducing everything that's been choreographed. I'm okay if you don't reproduce. And even if you fail sometimes, it's okay. The failure, there is a beauty.
Absolutely.
You learn from those failures. You might not read, but you learn. You need to see how do you react, how are your reflexes, and that's the part of being a dancer, I think, an artist on stage. Yeah, how do you? And the Manodharman part, so many times they will go and they won't. They should be able to brush it off and say, "Okay, I tried," and then it didn't work out, and then let's just go to the next one. I think that's the beauty of our what do you call system of learning.
Absolutely. And not only that, it's thinking on your feet. The other thing I really, I get impressed with is when I started this, just to celebrate my 15 years, of course, it's been multiple continents moving. So there are these years, months that I've not taught and then come back. And you know how it is, starting from scratch is such a pain. But the thing is that even then, I've seen that every time this laughter or these crazy things keeps us going, because it's not just the pain points, right? And these are the things, and most of the time, though we think we're laughing, we are actually learning from something from that. Just something from that, very small perhaps. Next time I'll be more careful, say if I have like multiple edited versions, I'll know which version to put. These sort of small things that come up again and again. Or not only that, students learn how to deal with music that's different from what they were experienced to. That itself is such a wonderful learning, which perhaps you might not have taught in a structured class. And I think that is the beauty of this. And for me, I love laughter. I love joking. I love enjoying my art. So for me, I just felt there are enough number of, I think, performances and serious talks. I want to bring out the fun element that keeps us going. Most of us actually keep coming back because it is enjoyable. If it was that painful, I don't think we'll go back to it. Unless we have such short memories that, you forget. But even then, it is so enjoyable that 5 years down the line, you look back and say, oh my God, what did I do there? And laugh. And it should be a happy reminiscence. Not just like, at that point of time, I broke my ankle and I was in a cast. We've gone through all of that. Or do they pay for your arts? Well, that's still a struggle that we're going through. So these are things we're constantly going to acknowledge and deal with. But I just thought that it's real fun to talk to dancers and see what is the nice things that happened. What brings them back? What gives them that smile, even during this lockdown, especially, given that it's challenging, right? So that's the reason why I reached out. And this has been amazing, Deepa. I'm sure you have multiple other memories. But it's just that my 15 years, I wanted it to be where I reach out to different people but in a very happy way. And of course, the learning comes with it, no? So that's why.
Congratulations on your 15 years. That's a lovely journey. And then you're also having a, full-fledged career, and you've done amazing work in that side too. I think it's, I lot of respect and extremely humbled by the kind of work that you're doing. And it's fantastic. I love this light-hearted. It brings out our lightheartedness. It's so beautiful. I mean, let me talk about all these things. And like you said, there is a learning there. Yeah. So we all look for that. Thank you so much.
No, thanks, Deepa. It was just so lovely talking to you. And I just hope we stay in touch because, it's been so many years. And I just said off the bat, I'm just going to, reach out to her. But thank you so much for taking the time off.
Thank you.
Hi, Harita. I'm so glad you're able to join us today for the Vihasati series. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Hey, hi, Mrudula. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And I love the name Vihasati. So that's something very different, not talking about intellectual stuff that really gets to us now. So glad we're talking about the fun part of dance.
Especially with you, because we've had a lot of fun.
Oh, yes.
Collaborated. Yes. So yes, a lot of memories, right? A lot of crazy things that we did just to get space. The places where we have collaborated and done things outside train stations, if I also remember. So.
Oh, yes. Below the train station, practicing in such area. That's fun. But that's Singapore for you. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the reason why I sort of, when I'm completing these 15 years, I just don't want it to be, of course, the pain, the hardship, all that is always part and parcel. But I also wanted to sort of reiterate that it's a lot of fun. And it's crazy sometimes. You have no control over a lot of things, especially in programs, you never know what's happening.
Oh, no.
Right? So if you could share some of those sort of memories, it'll be really lovely.
Right. On top of my mind, something which happened very recently. My school is pretty new, Medasvi. We just started in April during COVID. Yeah, that itself was a funny thing because to get an LOC during COVID itself was a big deal for me. And my students are very helpful. So we got a program with the IHC, Indian Heritage Center, and we were doing a Ramayana series. Ramayana series, the different schools were doing different parts. So we were given not any scene. I could choose the scene. We were given a scene between after Sita's abduction and before the coronation. So obviously it's not a very happy scene. So, and we were happy doing it. So we came up with the very famous Arunachala Kavi, Kanden Sita. Everybody knows that. Beautiful song.
Beautiful.
And it's so emotional. So I thought, okay, this suits the purpose. And I sent it to the group. They're like, can we have a little more peppy number? I'm like, what? You're doing Mohiniyattam? You want an emotional scene? What do you mean by peppy fast number? And somebody else also, they just sent me a recent song. They're like, I'm not going to say which group. And I'm like, can you do Mohiniyattam? Some folkish Malayalam, Dappanguttu song, they want to do Mohiniyattam. So I'm just saying the kind of ideas they have, but that's okay. Let's say lack of knowledge. The same thing for IHC, we were saying, Singapore just rains when it wants. And going around with a mask and makeup is a new normal now. And we were supposed to, it was an outdoor shoot at Botanic Gardens. The place where we both first met anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but beautiful location. This location was fantastic. Okay. So we are all made up and sitting. And it starts to rain. 3 hours in the car. 3 hours. We're just waiting in the car park.
Oh my God.
Then we're trying to, but the organizers were very good at the end of the day. They couldn't help it. The rain is not their fault. Correct. And they're trying to see, but then they really wanted to do the scene, Kanden Sita, outdoors, under the trees and Hanuman jumping, things like that. So they had envisioned that. We have 3 of us. We are all sitting in different cars like this. And the worst part is one of their husbands is also sitting with us. Imagine his condition.
Poor guy. That's all I can say.
I know. He's coming all the way from east and he was just waiting. He's like, okay, 3-4 made up women in the car with me. What do I do? But we finally managed. We managed to do that, and like I said, we see the costume. We can't go out and do, in the grass.
Oh, absolutely. And white too.
And white. We're like, oh, but we need outdoor. So again, sometimes something happens here. I had taken a green dance sari, grass green dance sari. I put it on the floor for the girls, and they put some sheets under it so they won't get wet. So these are the kind of things. That's a small thing. Rain, having to wait with the makeup on is so strenuous.
And for so many hours.
And for hours. Actually, it's more strenuous than a performance. It was not a performance. It was a video shoot. So for a 5-minute video shoot, we had to shoot for 3 hours, which was actually less strenuous in comparison to sitting in the car and looking at each other's face, hungry. Yo.
And with the poor male driver also.
Driver, that is one of my students' husbands. Poor Chetan. Another incident which I remember, it happened quite a few years back. Again, a cute one. 2008, if I remember, we were in Assam. So my guru got a performance to do for the Assam government. Not exactly a government, but it was a government program as well. Then a lot of my friends, they were very apprehensive to go to Assam. It was a time, when that lot of issues were happening, upheavals were happening. So my father was like, this is a good opportunity for you to go. Free trip, just go and come. Don't worry about the upheavals. True, na? Imagine having to go from Kerala to Assam. Who will go like that?
You'll never get a chance.
And it was beautiful. So obviously, the group of 6 of them ended up being just me and my guru. The guru and me, and guru, as you know, Shamla, Surendra, and Dharani. We had a great gala time, the very, very nice flights, 2 flights, of course. And then when we got there, all that was from Guwahati, we had to drive all the way to Shivsagar, which was 7 hours drive. I don't even remember because I slept off. And then the performance was at 7 at night, 7 or 8 or something, 8 at some place. It was cool. It's by the tea gardens, right? No current at night.
Oh.
At dusk. No power, and we both had to put makeup. What do we do? No light, nothing. That is one experience we both keep talking about. We went and sat out under the dusk, some moon, half moonlight, some random mirror, some makeup. Like, people would have thought, who are these 2 women sitting out and putting makeup like this in colorful clothes? She was doing Mohiniyattam, I was doing Bharatanatyam. But finally, the makeup was pretty okay, I think. But later when I saw it was scary, to be honest, because we missed certain parts here.
I love to see your eyes, though.
Eyes were okay, because that was the one thing but rest of it, I'm sure, I looked, to be honest, later when I saw a photo of I'm like, I looked really red, because I didn't know what I had done. Too red, I think I put an extra red. Eyes were okay, but that's it. Eyes, we put it little mildly. And it looked scary at the end of it. Dusk, and never do that. And we can't see, we really cannot see. It was getting like, the twilight was falling into place. And so dusk makeup. How many times you do makeup? Please do it under the light.
That's such an important learning you took away, Harita. Which is very... I mean, talking about, 10 people coming to one person, right? That always happens when you land up doing with a group. There's always somebody who's lost or that particular position. Or I don't know what happens, but there is this complete loss of, topographical sense, perhaps. They go land up somewhere else and they never turn up. And, it's always like something. I'm sure you've had many.
Oh, yes. Those are like normal stuff. So once, another incident I remember was at Konark Dance Festival. Okay. So, I wear glasses, and you've been there. The stage is like a size of an apartment. So, and the previous day when we were rehearsing and I took off my glasses, I couldn't see I couldn't see my partner. Then she was blurred. Like, okay, fine. I'm figuring it out. I look at the person in front of me and dance. because we have to see our position. I said, see, you have better eyesight than me. You look at me and then you stand. I can't see you. Fair enough. But it wasn't this bad. It really wasn't great. And we managed at night. Things went lovely. So obviously it was a beautiful sight. We were getting on the
Yeah.
stage. Uh, so back, the back, we were seeing that beautiful Vimanam, and music has started. Live music. All of us are like, and my teacher is like, go, go, go! Music started. Oh yes, yes. Yes. All young girls. We were all in our 20s, and for us, like, oh my God, it's like we were in heaven. And then once we got on stage, all that was fine. And obviously, I couldn't see. It's dark, also fantastic. Can't see. I'm looking at the girl in front of me. We went through, and usually we have the musicians beside us, so we have that communication. But here, the musicians had to sit a level below. It's in 2 levels, the stage. So they were sitting a level below. And sir, it was Kottagal Madhu sir, very, very well-known Kathakali singer. You'll find plenty of his YouTube videos. So he was singing for us, and his voice was like, that it was so grand. Anyway, his voice is great, fine. What happened is he made a mistake on stage. He missed up a line, he missed a line, or he repeated a line, or something happened. So usually we are all used to standing next to one another where we can see. Here we can't see anybody because I can only see the girl in front of me who was 10 feet away. Because 7 of us have to cover that much. So I'm like, what just happened? Or did I make a mistake? And then she looked at me in a weird way, from the side, like, but she's a cool, calm person. She did some random thing. Some adabush she did. I followed her, and the person behind me followed me. So we were actually in a V position. V, right? There's one in the center. My guru was in the center. So 3 of them there, 3 of us here, guru in the center. One line did something else, one line did something else, one in the center did something else, because the line was completely repeated. We didn't know what to, but then it looked nice in a way, because there was some uniformity in that dissimilar kind of action. We're like, what just happened? Why did he do that? And then he somehow got back. Then later when we asked him, sir, what happened? The audience, there were like 5,000 people, and that ambience is like so magical, no? He's like, in that magic, I just went forward, the mic fell on me, and I ended up having a shock.
Oh my God. Oh my God. What
so he just lost his senses for a second. So he just repeated what it is, and we all were like, what has happened? But thankfully, because of our training, we don't lose our composure.
Correct.
We just did it like that. So it came out well, because it looked nice, especially the white costume with the night sky, and it was surreal.
And what a background. What a background.
Yeah. So it was surreal. And on the same festival, so we were doing an Ayyappa piece. Okay, so the back, what is it? The dressing room, green room is below the stage here, right? Which is divided into 2. So one half is the the famous Odissi dancer Ranjana Gohar, I think. Yeah, she was there. No, not Ranjana Gohar. Yeah. A girl, I forgot her name. Okay, it'll come to me. And in this side it was us. So we kept asking, because we had to keep running up and down. We didn't expect such a big stage. We're like, okay, this needs audio marks, guess and go, because we kept running here and there, But that was okay. There was a one scene where Ayyappa is finally sitting, and where one person, my guru, was doing that scene. She will describe everything. She does a description. She goes down and gets dressed up in the black and comes on stage. Okay, with everybody else. That's how it is. So everybody else comes, and then she will join later, because she has to go and change. But this being an apartment, everybody else joining, music is going. And I was sitting as Ayyappa. They didn't know. The girls with me didn't know, because they were facing me. I'm like, where is teacher? Where is auntie? Where is auntie? Music is getting over. Where is auntie? And finally, she comes running. It's like, she does all these random things. Ideally, she should just come and join the line. But because it broke, she came running into the scene, like, Ayyappa, Sami! And she just...
She has run a half a marathon, so you have to be very considerate.
No, I'm just saying, but you know how we all manage to change
Absolutely.
according to the situation, really adapt to the situation. Okay, so when she did that, I'm supposed to sit still as a god, and I'm like, I'm going to grin, looking at her expression, and then these two girls like, why is one's behind me, besides me, like, why is Harita laughing there? Like, keep quiet, don't make me laugh.
Because you didn't see what you saw, that's what
Yeah, that's later I went and told this is what happened. Auntie came running and she went all on bhakti and fell at my feet, and then she went and joined the life because she had to do it that way. So those things, those are the few things that came in my mind. Then there are other weirder things, but I don't know if I should be saying it.
perhaps not. Perhaps a private call.
Yeah, no, it's like how somebody just kept a video and walked off, and then our heads were not seen.
Oh my God. Oh, tell me about it. It's somehow something happens. They will fix a video and then they'll just sit down. You have no clue whether the angle is correct.
No, so how did we realize it? Because they had put a big screen over there.
No, you were all headless and you were seeing yourself.
Because we were doing a Tiruvadra Kali. So we were in a circle. So the circle is moving, no heads, only the torso.
Oh my God, that is just so weird. You can even show it later on, even if they record.
Exactly. And this one was in Cochin only, the same function. They called us, this was some gynecologist, some function. And they invited us to do dances of Kerala because a lot of North Indians and people from different parts of India were coming. And whenever such functions or some conferences happen, we usually do dance of Kerala because it's like the other person, it's actually peppy and fast and quick. So we were doing dance of Kerala, and we get there. Thankfully, our moms come for a change, and moms, the dressing room. We are 8 of us girls and 6 boys or something. One tarpaulin behind the stage, one blue tarpaulin. That's it. And we were really pissed off. See, it's the way they treat artists. They're like, yeah, this is enough for them.
Yeah.
They don't see us as human beings who are educated and who have some sense, who can probably talk better than them. One time, and our moms were so indignant because when we are trying to change we could see the shadows outside. And then moms being moms immediately took all the dupattas and covered and then made a big deal. But then we managed. So, but the boys had to keep waiting.
Exactly.
Or what would they had to compromise. So,
but you've seen so many of those where no proper changing rooms or not even a room, and they don't think of it as even a requirement, which is what is very
exactly.
Even recent performance, we had to explain that we wanted a changing room. It should not be something that way. It should not be like you're dressed up, you're ready, and you turn up. No, that's not the way it happens all the time. You do need space, even if you just want to sit down or something comes off or you need to pin up something. There's always this, in case you're not even changing your costume. I'm talking about this.
Absolutely.
Possible, right?
Absolutely.
So this should be a standardized requirement.
So if you have a stage, whatever may be, you need a changing room. Even if it is a small 2 feet by 2 feet changing room, a place to stand and, do something to yourself.
Exactly.
And keep some chairs for people to sit. No, they're like, so one thing I really cannot stand is like, we're giving you an opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you need to be paid?
Exposure.
What do
you get free exposure.
That's okay if you're a little kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Little kids don't need to earn money. They're fine. You do your job and go. But not for people like you and me you might have, but for you, you are still teaching. You're a teacher.
No, anybody, even a performing artist.
Some remuneration, some way or the other. So this has been happening in COVID situations. That's been happening. But then, just to keep ourselves motivated, not for anything else, because it'll make us practice. We are doing it. Only one group paid me. One group paid me pretty okay. It was Indian, but
most people don't even think of that. It's not a natural thought process at all.
It's not. They're like, why do you need to be paid? Like, dude, it's our job. But that they don't understand. Yeah, I was just something else actually had come up. I was going to say that maybe you can continue talking. It'll come up to me again, I'm sure.
No. This is a standardized thing, but I was just thinking that, we just go through so many. I remember a few of them talking about how they landed up at a place. And of course, most of us use recorded music, but when we're using a live orchestra, some of them don't turn up. It's happened for me as well. And
it's happened for us, remember?
Oh yeah.
That Edaka person, and finally we threw him off. And then last day he's like, I'll come and do on stage. We're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I know. No practice, no need to see anything. I'll just turn up and, I'll perform. That was such a shock. And you kept talking to him, trying to figure out what's happening. It's just crazy. No, I think our journeys are filled with so many of these crazier memories and also weird things happening, costumes behave well.
Costumes, that should till now be okay. Last year, here at Bugis, we were doing a performance. It was a very nice, like Chitra Chechi had arranged it, So we were doing it there, and it was a live performance. We were doing an Ashtapati, and the sloka of the Ashtapati. We were coming in, and it was live music only with vocal and edaka, nothing else. It was like a pure, authentic Kerala temple kind of thing, doing Mohiniyattam to that music. What happened is, I was doing the sloka and I come in, and after the gamagam, before that Virutham music begin, Virutham lyrics begin, the musician was going on with the gamagam. He just got into that gamagam, and I'm like, I'm standing like this, and I started because we always start a hand 10 seconds before the lyrics come, right? Or 5 seconds. So in my head, I'm putting the thalam and I start. I'm like, he's still singing Gamagam. No relation. What do I do? And I look here. I'm still searching for Krishna. I'm like, God, continue. He's not stopping. And I finally turn to the musician. I do, what happened? You can see it in the video. And musician is not looking at me. He's looking at the mic and singing, oh my God. I'm like, oh God. Then I'm looking at the Adakya boy. I'm like, tell him to change. The Thalam has to come, no? So he had to sing one more gammakam. So finally I'm searching. I'm like, hello, what?
Hey, your search was very deep rooted.
I know. But I have to look at the musician behind and ask him what happened.
It looked like you were searching for the musician. Oh my God, what happened to you?
What are you going? So those who know that will understand. But it was so hilarious. He's like, but he was very sweet about it. He apologized. He's like, no, I just got into the mood. That I understood. And it was that Virutham only I was doing. So it was okay. But I'm sure if my girls were there, they wouldn't have managed it that much. Because they were coming in with these lyrics. So
I know, and the funny part is these musicians just in the moment, right? They're just so passionate, they get into it. It's always with artists. Once we lose ourselves, it's very difficult. But in a program, we just have to be so aware. That is the bigger problem.
Do you remember when we were performing, she was singing something else? This singer, random things she was singing. No relation. We told her this number of times, 2, 3 times, this one. She just started singing and we are showing some random hands and finally lyrics itself we couldn't understand. We had set it in such a way.
Yeah. It was quite tough.
But it was just the both of us, so we managed.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
The things we do, my God. But
Oh, yeah. Once you were saying another funny thing. It's like, I don't know if anybody noticed. Again, an Ayyappa piece for another doctor's function. And this was, I had met with an accident a few months before that. So my knee was still, not so sure. So I would wear a kneecap. For the Ayyappa thing, we have to change our costume. You have to become an Ayyappa. So he wears this 3, till the knee, only till the knee. So I'm sitting as Ayyappa. Everybody saw my kneecap. White kneecap against the black. My mother was like, "Ayyo, your kneecap is..." And then the people were at this level because it was in a hotel, a restaurant hotel. So, they were just sitting here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure all those people that level could see me. If I was on the stage, maybe not. They wouldn't have noticed so much. Like, oh, poor Ayyappa with a broken leg.
It's a new twist, but yeah.
So the next after that, I was very careful.
We see that's the thing, these funny things really teach you. Next time you won't do the same thing because you realize, oh my God, this happened. Let's be ultra careful the next time. But then the next time, of course, there's a new learning and there's a crazy thing that happens. But that's the way it goes.
Then I went to another Natya, and so I got it as a solo, but I went with my friends. Okay. And we, as you know how Natyanjalis work, we go there in the train and come back in the train that night.
Correct.
So this was a similar case. So we reach there, we are well rested. We put our makeup and go. Our time slot. The organizers are dancing during our time slot.
Okay.
With his students. The organizer who invited us. I can understand if somebody else was dancing in our time slot. Sometimes there could be some.
Was it just that everything moved? I mean, it was a cascading effect, or it was just?
No. It wasn't. He just randomly started.
Oh.
Okay, so he had to catch a train and go to Bangalore, and then it was our performance. So it was like the usual Natyanjali, 25 minutes.
Correct. It's a rush.
Okay,
actually.
and this organizer's performance to his kids, whatever, was supposed to be after ours, the last one, because he's living there and all his kids' parents are sitting there. So ideally what he ended up doing is he started with his.
Oops.
And Bhushan sir is waiting and we are also waiting. And finally, what did we do? I started fighting. That's the least thing we can do. Started fighting with the organizer who was outside, one who wasn't performing. I said, what the hell is this? We have to go. So performance is at 7:30 or something. And our train is at 9 o'clock or 9:30. 7:30 to 8 we perform. Rush. 8:30, 9 we finish and then go to the station. That's the idea. And this guy is performing during our time. And I'm standing and fighting. Finally, he actually had to stop his performance in between and come out. And Bhushan sir's performance was happening. Bhushan sir shot his performance for us.
See, that's what happens.
But he's a very so he's like, he's a very well-known dancer. So for him, these 20 minutes didn't matter. He very honestly said, see, I'm cutting short one item for these girls because they have to go in that train after later. So I'm just cutting short one for them. All the best. And he just walked off the stage. Imagine saying that on stage.
Yeah.
But once we started the performance, it was a lovely experience. I won't deny that. The stage was beautiful. The audience was wonderful. All that was great. But that 30 minutes of tension they gave us. It is so stressful. Imagine having to fight to get onto the stage. And not like it was
starting on time, right?
It was not.
All these are
it's not a Kalolsavam or anything, no. They invited us, and those organizers are sitting there. So
it's unbelievable, these experiences. But the problem is also, these are all, if one gets delayed, everything gets delayed. I mean, everything, it's a very strong cascading effect. So somebody has to give up in the end. And it's happened multiple times. Huh? Somebody will come and then they'll
multiple times
before you. And then, whatever your choreograph, you won't have time. So we'll cut. And of course, now I stress a little more on it. But earlier it used to have quite a bit. Automatically, let them dance just before you. They'll go on and on.
That's the thing. See, because it was Bhushan sir, because he's so experienced, he understood the situation. Okay. I'm sure if it was somebody else, why would they give up their hard work for us?
Yeah.
If it was a less experienced, they're like, we practice so much, we spend money. And obviously, when you go for Natyanjalis, you have to take it from your pocket. They give you food and accommodation. Right. So it's for the experience that we go. And then they are coming all the way there to perform. Why should they even sacrifice?
Correct.
And there was another boy after us, one Bengali boy. He also was waiting for our performance. And then he had to go, late night for his train. So, but having to fight with the organizers, to do our performance when they sat during our time slot was something very new for me.
And the
I
fact
think
that they invited you, it's not that you turned up, you know.
that's the thing. It's not like of course you apply for it and you get through. But if not, you're rejected. But it's not like somebody. If it was somebody else during our slot, it's understandable. Yes, you would have still been upset, but the organizer sitting during our slot is something very.
It's unique and it's new. It's a new perspective.
But this was back in 2012.
Hmm.
Okay, that's all. I'm not. That's why I said I'm not going to say which one it is.
No, I don't think you should. I don't think.
It's unfair because at the end of the day, everything else what they did was good. This is the only thing. They gave us the food, accommodation, everything was great. Transportation was fine. I mean, they could only afford an auto, but we are okay with that. We are Indians. We are very adaptable.
We are very, very, very flexible.
So that is there. All that was fine. They treated us well. Everything was taken care of. Just this minor glitch in between. So these are all. I mean, I'm sure there will be, like I said, various things happening. Yeah. Like again, when I met with an accident 6 days before a performance. I wasn't even sure. 3 days I was in the hospital. They weren't even sure if we could do it. And then the girls, they all changed the practice to my building. And it was a very important performance also. It was our guru's 60th birthday. So we couldn't do anything and nobody could replace me because it was our choreography. And then the girls, they were very sweet because my knee was obviously not in a good condition and I couldn't change the knee when I was sitting in Murumandi. So we had to do one adavu on the same side.
Mm.
I was scared if anybody would forget because we just changed it that morning.
Right.
But yeah, and the makeup, because I had a big hematoma over here. It was black in colors. So obviously the makeup man was stunned seeing my face, like what happened to this person, and he had put like 10 packs. Usually we put very less makeup, but he had to put so much makeup because it was so big and it was thick. So my fellow dancers had to bear the brunt because they had to put equal makeup to match me. When you see the photos, you can see it caked with makeup. You don't put so much makeup.
Not only you managed to dress up everybody extra.
That's all. And then obviously those people who knew I met with an accident, they were very concerned. They were not watching the performance because I had injuries all over. So they were like, Devika ma'am, we are Devika, Priyadarshini Govind, they were all sitting there. They're like, oh my God, the accident girl. So bangles are going up and down. So I had an injury here, So it's going up and I said, oh my God, the bangles must be hitting her. She must be in pain. Oh my God, that is happening. So nobody really enjoyed the performance.
They were more concerned about how you were doing, which is very nice.
Because we are all sweaty, right? So my friend is waiting for her mother to come and help. Totally ignored it. Say, no, you stand there. I'm going to help Harita because so my mother had to help me on one side. Auntie was helping me on the other side because full plasters, right? Like, you do on your own.
I know. Take care of yourself.
I will. You're not a little kid anymore, but she needs help. So.
But yeah, but thanks so much, Harita. It's been so much fun.
Oh, so sorry. I'm sorry if I took too much of your time.
No, not at all. Not at all. The whole point is to just, reminisce, and that's where we find a lot of fun as well. So it's a nice and a lot of it as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me. I these are all moments I've myself forgotten. Not forgotten. It's somewhere there back in my
somewhere
memory.
There.
Yeah, but like you said, reminiscing it and then talking about it and thinking how we now. There's another point to this, Mridula. How would we react to such situations now? These are things which happened decades ago, like 10 years, 8 years, when much less. So now I told you about the Assam thing. Assam thing, you can't help it. Makeup, you better do it well wherever you are. But other situations like the tarpaulin, we would have never allowed our students to go through that. So it's a learning for all of us also.
No, I agree. But thanks so much for these lovely memories. And I really want, when I talk to people who have been part of the journey, I want them to think of some of the happy times. And a lot of times, it's there in our mind, but when we bring it out, we're like, oh my God, look at these things, nah? So
True, true.
that's the way, spending that amount of time happily. So thank you.
Happy. Thank you so much, Mudula, for inviting me. I'm so honored.
Thank you.